Scrubs, hope you're well. So this video is requested by Violet Silverleaf. So she asked if I would talk about training your riders and horses on Horse Eden. Now, I'm not very familiar yet with Horse Eden, but I'm going to try and explain what I do understand. I've also had a little bit of a look at the help, so with the game guide there's some information in there. There's some stuff that I'm not going to talk about because I had a look in the game guide, and there's like training stuff that's like really goes into some of the more detailed parts of Horse Eden that I haven't even gone near yet. So I'm going to be kind of looking at more basic stuff right now. I apologize if anybody's looking something like more helpful, but I am still quite new to this game. So one of the first things is you have this training gauge, and the training gauge basically illustrates how much your horse is training a particular trait, and it's relative to the entire lifetime potential of that horse, and it increases over time each time that you train or do something like a trail ride or a specialty clinic, but you won't see a change here like immediately. You know the way like when you train on horse, the training gauge automatically goes up. That doesn't happen on Horse Eden. You will see a gradual increase over time, and then you'll be able to get a hint basically about what your horse is going to be talented at in which trait. So it's not an immediate thing. It doesn't immediately show up. So one of the things to bear in mind is when you do shows, the scores are based 10% on the rider skill and 90% on the horse's training. So you want to have if you take a horse then that has like no training but a really, well-trained rider, that's probably not going to work so well. You're better having a better trained horse, and a reasonably well-trained rider, as best you can. So in terms of the training center, so we'll just go, actually I'll show you one thing first. You can assign training to your horse. So right now you can see that this horse just is trained in all disciplines. So you can manage the training from here if you want. Change training. So choose the discipline to train your horse in. Your horse will train slower if trained in all sports at once than if trained in one speciality at a time. So basically, if you want to be able to train your horse up a little bit faster in one particular one, you're better focusing on either dressage or cross country or jumping, rather than focusing on all disciplines, because it takes much, much longer. So if I wanted to assign her to dressage, for example, she would then, her training is now to dressage, and if we go to display barns, okay, you can see here that there's two horses down here that are being trained in dressage, and all the other ones are trained in all disciplines. So they would train a lot slower than these ones would, because these ones are trying to focus on loads of different things at once. One thing apparently that you can do in terms of, let me see, if we go to training center. So in the training center you can train your horses, and you can also train your riders as well. Now, riders you can train once a week, and you do that by enrolling them in this rider clinic. And when you go to the training center to train your rider, you need to make sure you train any riders before you do shows, for example, because then they're going to have a better advantage than if you left them, train them after a show, because then they're not going to benefit from the training. So you want to make sure if you're going to be doing some shows with your horses, make sure you train your riders beforehand. One of the things that it said in the training guide was if you have a schoolmaster horse, you can train your riders on the schoolmaster horse and they will earn an extra training boost, but you need to be careful that your rider is going to be trained in whatever discipline the horse is a schoolmaster in, so you need to make sure that you match your rider and horse in discipline. You don't want to be taking a rider that you want for jumping and training them on a dressage schoolmaster, because that's not going to work. In terms of training your horses, you can train horses once a week, and you can do that on the horse's page. There is a link, as we showed you a minute ago, where you can change your horse's training discipline. And you can, as I said, train them in all disciplines, or just, all at once. But as we saw whenever we were looking at it a minute ago, you're better training it in one particular one, because then they'll train a little bit faster. So it is really important that your horse and rider are both trained in the same discipline as well. So you don't want to be assigning, as I said, a cross-country rider to a dressage horse and vice versa. And whenever you visit the training centre to train your horse, it's best to do it obviously before you do shows as well. So if we want to train her, best to do that beforehand. The other thing I want to mention as well is if your horse levels up before your rider, then you better to reassign your horse to a rider that is the same level as them. So if we just quickly go here, I think. Let me see. So I'm just going to refresh the page here, but this horse doesn't have a rider right now, okay? Now, if you want to assign rider, now it will sometimes tell you that you have no rider of the right level available, and you'll have to hire one, and then it will be automatically assigned to your horse. So right now, for this horse, I need a level 5 rider, which I don't have, so obviously I need to go and hire one. So I just click submit. And then a rider has been hired and assigned, so we can see this rider here if we click on her, and she's training in dressage. Now that did that automatically because we'd set the horse to be training in dressage, and then we hired the rider, which then give us a dressage rider. So obviously if we were buying one for a horse in all disciplines, then we've got like a rider that was for all disciplines and that. So you have to be careful as to what your rider is being trained in and what your horse is being trained in, and try and match those. So those are the things that I understand about the training. Like there's other things that I'm sure training impacts as well, but those are the things that I understand so far. So thank you to Violet Silverleaf for requesting the video. I hope you have a lovely day, scrubs.